Fox Tuesday, Seth Green and Giovanni Ribisi are the best of friends with the worst of dads.
My dad quickly closes the laptop every time I walk into the room.
My dad can clear his throat for 50 minutes of a 90-minute movie.
Now they're moving in.
Stay out of the bathroom between 3 and 4. That's my go time.
And there's no way out.
Your father made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
With scotch?
He said it was for dipping.
Dads, a new comedy, premiering Tuesday at 8/7 Central on Fox.
You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keetin. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's Keeping Up with the Kardashians After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Keeping Up with the Kardashians After Show.
Hello, everybody. Bing is for doing, and we're here doing another after show for Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Season 8, Episode 14, Backdoor Bruiser. Yeah. Speaking of bruises and backdoors and all that good stuff, I'm your host, Jason Ikeler.
And I'm Danica Kennedy, and I brought my friend Alina with me today. She does comedy writing, and she also watches the Kardashians, so she may add in a few things on tonight's episode. Yes. Hello, Alina, and my name is Keetin Marchi.
Hi, everybody. I'm Justin Nichols, and I've missed you all so much.
I know, I've missed you guys too, and I'm so happy to be back in the studio to talk about sex.
We're going to talk lots about sex tonight, but before we get into sex, let's talk about comedy.
Okay.
Because, you know, Fox Tuesday has some new comedies. They're almost here. Tuesday, September 17th. Don't miss the premiere of Dads, the new Fox comedy from the creators of Family Guy and Ted, which I know you all love. Seth Green and Giovanni Ribisi are the best of friends with the worst of dads. And when their dads decide to move in, there is no way out. It's a premiere of the new comedy Dads. Then you have the right to get excited about the Andy Samberg being in the show that critics call the best new sitcom of fall. It's Fox's new comedy, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the new office comedy about the law without the order. Andy Samberg stars in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, premiering after Dads next Tuesday, September 17th, only on Fox.
And speaking of order, there is none of it right now in the studio.
Bruce.
Chris.
Bruce.
It has all gone wrong here on
Okay, that's enough.
If you're watching on YouTube, you will see that we are literally shaking.
We're literally humping.
We are, and my parents are at home watching ashamed of me right now. But
sorry,
that
Mom.
Was a reenactment. I was not of a reenactment just now.
Guys, Bruce and Kris have a sex tape, which is why Danica and I just made our first sex tape.
It was supposed to be just
that.
Make sure you watch and rate us on YouTube for that one.
Yeah. It was 5 stars for
also,
that.
iTunes. Yes. Very classy show we're conducting here tonight.
I don't even know how to top that.
What were we talking about? I mean,
I know.
Woo! Is it hot in here? So no, let's talk about my love, the Lord Scott Disick, and the amazing Kourtney Kardashian decide to reenact the sex tape that Kris and Bruce kind of mentioned slightly.
Now, I want to say that it took this long for Bruce and Kris to come out and say we made a sex tape. How much shit did they give Kim back in the day, like when her tape got released? Like,
well,
I remember
Kris
reading things about Bruce saying, like, obviously you never want to find out that somebody made such a stupid decision, but like we're standing by her. Like, Bruce, you did the same thing.
And meanwhile, Kris, the mom, is being like, "Woo, Kim, sex tape, let's sell it.
Ship it up, let's make some money."
Kendall, when are you doing yours?
First of all, we've talked about this on many, many episodes, but I absolutely love how much the Kardashians talk about sex so openly, but I don't always agree with Lord Disick. I'll be honest. However, today I completely did. He was right. Bruce is so critical of them, and then he's the one making these sex tapes 20 years ago.
Well, and I think the difference is that the Kardashians are just vocal people, and they do it in kind of like a humorous way, so it's just funny. Like, oh, Mom and Dad made a sex tape. Did you do it missionary style?
But when they brought it up, they were at dinner, and Bruce said something
to everyone, like, let's not talk about sex in front of the 17-year-old. And then Kris comes up, oh my God, we made a sex tape back in the 90s. And she just starts talking about it. And it was right after Bruce said, let's behave ourselves.
I feel like
around
what
our
they're
children.
talking about too, like Khloe's taking these dirty pictures, which aren't even that dirty, for her husband. So that's not like something I think you need to hide from your 17-year-old.
No, they were nice photos.
Like that's pretty wholesome.
I
I'd
mean,
say.
but if I don't know, seeing both sides of it, if you think about what like Kylie and Kendall have already been probably immersed in and exposed to, it's probably a lot worse than the fact that their parents had a sex tape. But it's also like, come on, they're 15 and 17 years old. Like, they've been like, just let them be kids. Like, it kind of breaks my heart, and it even goes into Kendall wanting to, get her own house, and it's just like, are you serious? Like, Kendall, like, you're 17.
But 17-year-olds have sex.
That's true.
And
I feel like
just saying.
and you know the Kardashian girls are, because that's what this family does. Is have lots and lots of sex on camera.
Well, Kylie and Jaden Smith? They're like rumored to be hooking up right now.
And Jaden Smith is friends with Justin Bieber, so you know that it's getting on, Kylie. You go, girl.
Oh my God.
You get some.
That breaks my heart.
So anyway, though, it was really great, though, because, everyone always thinks of Khloe as the funniest one of the sisters. However, you have to give Kourtney a lot of credit, because she always thinks of these great pranks, and these great ideas.
Because wait, what was the guy we had before?
Todd Cranes.
Todd Cranes.
Todd Cranes.
She's always
Auntie Kris.
behind.
This is Todd Cranes.
She's always behind them recently, though, because she was behind the placenta and Todd Cranes
Oh my
and
God.
this one.
Placenta.
And I love it, too, because she's had the most interesting relationship with Kris. They haven't always got along, so when she pranks her, I think it's really funny.
Because a little bit of it is out of spite, don't you think?
Yeah, it makes it better for some reason. And plus, in the sex tape that they did, she looks exactly like Kris with the wig on. It's hilarious.
So they at first go searching for Bruce and Chris's sex tape.
All throughout the house.
And funniest moment of the episode, I think, is when Kris walks in and Court's like, oh, we were just playing hide and seek. Nothing going on here, nothing to see.
It was great. Yeah, so they decided, since they cannot find the sex tape, the next greatest thing would be to dress up as Kris and Bruce from 20 years ago and do a redo.
Oh my God.
Who thinks of this?
So funny. And of course they don't do anything small, so they bring in their hairstylist and they have all these
the
wigs.
cut, and they have this camera from like 1984. It looks super sketchy, like a old creepy porno would be filmed with it.
And Rob is the one filming, which is even more like,
of course.
okay,
creepy.
Rob. He's the one who wants to get into porn anyway, right?
Oh yeah, he talks
he
about
did.
that. He should.
Not anymore.
It's true. No,
Once
not
he
behind,
starts
not
running.
in front of the camera, behind the camera. Like you should make the porn, Rob. Don't be in it.
The director.
And I like how she had the robe on, she had the white wine. I mean, they had it down pat from 20 years ago.
And they put the voices over from home videos. They took their actual voices. So when they showed it to Bruce, he freaked out and thought it was actually him, and they totally got him on this one.
Okay, it is a little weird if you think about it. Like, I'm like, oh, it's the Kardashians. It's so funny. But if I was gonna reenact a sex tape and like play my dad, like what?
Yeah, what?
Wait, it's not his dad. It's his
Or his
father-in-law.
even creepier, his father-in-law.
It's weird that I think it's more weird that Kourtney's playing her mom and like having sex with her stepdad.
I love when they're making it and Kourtney is like, this is actually how Scott has sex.
The one leg up like we just did.
Yeah, one leg up.
So we were reenacting
That's our
the
go-to.
sex tape that they did of the sex tape, basically.
Maybe if you're lucky, we'll give it to you again at the end.
Maybe.
I was thinking, too, how funny would it be for the poor PA that works on Keeping Up with the Kardashians? He goes home to his roommate after a long day and like, what'd you do at work today? He's going to say, oh, I dubbed in groaning sounds of the Kardashians for a sex tape. I mean, like, some poor person had to dub in all
That
those
sounds
voices.
like a dream job, actually.
You guys, Jason might be looking for a new job.
I know.
He wants to make Bruce Jenner sex tapes.
Maybe not. Whatever, I'd do it.
Scott was so funny, though. Like, Kourtney looked exactly like Kris, and Scott, I forget what he was saying, but he was like, I'm an Olympic athlete, and I do this.
Oh my God,
like,
yes.
I forget what he said. He was doing hair flips and, like, spanking her. It was just ridiculous, but in the best way possible.
Well, and I love when they go to show it to Bruce. First of all, the Jenner boys just don't think it's funny. If you look at, like, Brody and Brandon's reactions, they're just, like, sitting there, like, stern.
Why so
but
serious,
Bruce
guys?
thinks it's his legit sex tape. So
Yeah.
he runs upstairs, which... If that's what their sex tape is really like, that is boring as hell. They're wearing clothes.
And does he not recognize what his wife looks like.
Well, they
from
kind of
20
had like the
years
wine
ago.
glass in front of it, I feel like.
Yeah.
And still, like, I feel like if you made a sex tape, like, you're gonna have some better, like, a better idea of maybe, like, that it's not in your new house. I don't know. Like, it just seemed, I just feel like it almost seemed a little, like, fake.
The only reason that I think maybe he would justify that is just because they always go out of their way to, like, prank each other.
Yeah.
So if their sex tape did exist, I could see them, like, hiring a private PI to find it. Like, that's a very Kardashian.
Yeah.
They always
mean
do
Kim
those
did
kinds
too.
of things.
Kim
Yeah,
loves
Kim
the
always
PIs.
does the private investigator stuff.
Like, the creepiest looking private investigators ever too. Like the one from
Little
this season with the
soul
musk.
patch.
Yeah.
Oh, it was gross. But
Love that.
at least they did tell Bruce though after he ran away like a little girl. He did tell him it wasn't him and he came back down. And they all watched it together as a family. And we're all joking about
and
it.
Keetin said while we were watching too, she's like, I love that this is like a Full House moment.
Yeah, it's like at the end of each Kardashian episode, it is like a Full House episode. It's just like there's something to be learned at the end of the day, and Bruce is like, they got me. I guess I'm too hard on the kids.
It's like the skankier version of Full House.
Exactly. If you're ever reenacting your parents boning, there's a lesson to be learned.
Always.
Oh, my mom would kill me if I did that.
Well, you just did it. So
I just did. But I wasn't impersonating her and her boyfriend.
Hey,
At least that's better.
Danica's mom, I'm gay. You have nothing to worry about.
No worries.
We're all good. So speaking of memories that we want to forget,
Khloe forgot.
I don't ever want to forget that. I'm kidding. That was the best moment of my life.
You better not forget it.
Khloe apparently has like Alzheimer's dementia. I don't know if that's like
Alzheimer's.
I just combined the two.
Alzheimer's.
Is that the thing? I don't know. I know nothing about medical things.
Alzheimer's,
I just know about
guys.
having sex.
It's a new disease.
Wow.
So anyways, she doesn't have any childhood memories and she keeps forgetting things and they'll bring up things. And there's like a montage of all these times in the past, which I kind of remember Khloe like not ever remembering things.
Yeah. It's interesting because they weren't really quite sure how it happened because there was talks of maybe I think when she was 16 she was thrown out of a car and when she went through the windshield.
I don't remember this. Like, when did this happen?
This is before the Kardashians were the Kardashians.
It's weird to think that they had stuff happen in their lives that we don't know about.
Right.
Like, that's not right.
What?
That never happened to Khloe.
But then they thought maybe it was just because of the traumatic of losing her father and all the drama that was happening before he died. So they're not quite sure this episode where her memory loss worked.
Well, and it all starts at the chiropractor when they find out about that thing. And I just want to talk about that because all those cracks and stuff that they were doing to Courtney were so gross.
Have you guys ever been to a
I
chiropractor?
love the
No.
chiropractor.
I've never been, but I want to go
have
now.
to go. It's the best thing ever. They'll crack every bone in your body, and it just like realigns yourself, and you feel like 3 inches taller and amazing. And then your back goes out of place like 3 days later.
I heard once you start
But
going
those
to a
first 3 days.
chiropractor, then you're forever gonna be going.
You're addicted because it makes you feel so much better. But I crack my neck all the time. I'm like horrible. I have a bad back.
Well,
all
if
these
anybody
tapes
knows of a
you've been
good
making.
chiropractor in
I know.
LA, let me know because I'd like to try it out.
Tweet at us.
Tweet me a good chiropractor.
It's funny. People that go to the chiropractor when they watch, people get their back cracks, they're like, ooh, that sounds like it feels good. And then the people that don't, they're like, ew, it's so gross.
Oh, I know. I couldn't watch it.
But yeah, but it was that doctor though at the chiropractor that was kind of like, maybe you do have something more serious.
How
wrong
hot
with
was
your
that doctor,
memory.
by the way? Can we just
That
talk about
was.
this? He was like mixed steamy. Like, hello, like
He can-
Kardashians, where are you finding your doctors
He can
at?
crack my back
Hook
any
a
day.
girl up.
Not where they find their hypnotherapist
I
or
know,
private
that's true.
investigators.
With the plywood over the windows in this
The
episode.
I know.
super
Who's ever
sketchy
casting
place.
for Kardashians, keep casting the hot ones. We don't want to see these nasty porn stashes or creepy ass
It's like,
hypnotists.
Well, she ended up going to hypnotherapy to try to recover some of her memory, but before they do the shots inside the office, they do a shot of the outside and the sign, and it just looks so sketchy.
So sketchy. It's
You think
probably
they would
in-
step it up more since they have Kardashian money?
Yeah. But I guess there's not really like legit hypnotherapists, are there?
Yeah, there are.
you're now going to get a
Absolutely.
wrath of people on
You
Twitter.
I
guys-
know. Bring
you guys,
it.
I want you
Bring
to
it.
tweet us a good hypnotherapist. We want to put Jason through the ringer with him.
Yeah.
I know. I would love it.
Would you guys do that?
Yeah, I would.
We should do it right here on AfterBuzz.
I would too, but I don't believe in it, but I would do it and see. I would give it a shot.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't know.
What's that movie where the guy like hypnotizes people to take their money? I don't know.
Let's move on to that one.
That magic
So
movie
back
with
to
the
the
guy from the Facebook movie.
Kardashians.
Anyways,
I have no
it's
idea.
good. Yeah, so they go through like old pictures to see if they spark a memory for Khloe. And she's kind of being a little bit dramatic. Like,
Yeah.
I don't remember this picture. I don't remember that. And then when she finally gets to the hypnotherapist, it's like super deep. I got chills while we were watching because they bring up all these childhood memories about OJ, which you forget that Khloe was so young while it happened. But Kris wouldn't let her and Rob see their dad because obviously their dad was OJ's lawyer, and Kris thought OJ allegedly killed his wife.
And Kris, that was her best friend. Like that, like it was Uncle OJ and Auntie.
I'd actually
Nicole.
love to hear Chris's opinion now about it all, because obviously
It's been
this
so
is my
long.
opinion and not AfterBuzz's, but he killed her. So
If the glove doesn't fit.
I know.
Like seriously.
Oh wait.
I think so too. But I feel like they've talked about this throughout the seasons of the Kardashians, about the whole OJ trial, and I feel like it's affected Khloe more than any of the girls for some reason. I feel like she was at that age, you know, her parents were going through a divorce and all this was happening. She probably partially blocked it out on accident, you know, subconsciously. And then, you know, a car accident doesn't help either.
No. And I think too, when you're that age, you're like old enough to understand what's going on, but not old enough to form like your own opinion about it.
Yeah.
So it's like a weird phase for that sort of trauma to happen.
Yeah, she's trying to like trust her mom, but then it's like her, like, you know, she's like, well, wait, why is Daddy a bad guy now?
And
So-
then why is Uncle OJ killing his wife? So much going on.
Well, and it's like, and it's not just like what you hear from her parents and stuff, but it's also what she sees in the media, and it was all. I even remember when that trial was going on, and I think I was maybe 10 or 11, like, and I can distinctly remember seeing that on the Today Show.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but there used to be this whole drama scandal about Khloe possibly having a different father, and OJ might have been the father because they think she's part black. Do you remember that whole like drama? That probably screwed her up too at that age, hearing things like that. Poor girl.
Can we just give a shout out to poor Khloe? Because I know Lamar is going through a lot of stuff,
and we're gonna talk about all that news and gossip.
But like,
she's a trooper.
She is a trooper.
Well, if this OJ thing did anything, it prepared Khloe for everything that's coming her way right now.
Oh my gosh.
Media
I just want to give
attacks.
Khloe a hug.
Me too.
We'll hug you, Khloe.
Well, do you know who hopefully doesn't have the same issues as Khloe is Kendall.
Yeah, but before we talk about Kendall,
You don't want to talk about Kendall yet?
well, we should talk about Serial Buddies.
Yes.
We should talk about Serial Buddies. Go for it.
Serial Buddies is a serial killer comedy movie made by the people here at AfterBuzz, and all of the proceeds go back into AfterBuzz so we can continue to give you these great podcasts that sometimes include sex scenes for free. And it's got a lot of great people. Maria Menounos is in it. Beth Bears from Two Broke Girls. Kathy Lee Gifford. Artie Lang. There's like 18,000 other people I'm forgetting. But it's really funny, and it's $4.99 on Amazon and iTunes. And links to download it are on SerialBuddies.com. So check that out.
Do it.
Check it out.
Kendall?
So Kendall, we're finding is kind of a Jenner.
Yeah, for sure.
In the way that she's boring and doesn't like to have a good time like the rest of the Kardashians.
Oh, leave Kendall alone.
She's not as glamorous. She's not a girly girl, even though she is this super hot model. I feel like Kris and Kim, they're very like, oh, we have to go to the mall and get our nails
I feel
done.
like Kylie's that way too.
And
Kylie
like,
is
most
very
of
much
the
a
girls
Kardashian.
are very like glitzy and glamorous, and Kendall's like the chill, shy
like a
one that
beach
wants to
girl
go
almost.
surfing.
Yeah.
She's
You can't
kind of
say she's-
tomboyish, even though she's like a beautiful model.
Yeah,
I
we can't say
feel
she's
like.
boring because in this episode you see her out surfing. She wants to go get this really big, rad old pickup truck. I mean, dig it. I think she's probably the coolest one of the two younger sisters.
See, I mean boring in the way that she won't like talk about sex with her mom, and I don't know.
Yeah, she's definitely more of a
I think
Jenner
she's.
than she
No,
is
I
the
just. I
Kardashian.
think she's really mature for her age. I feel like she's kind of has her own profession now. She's been forced to grow up very quickly, but she's accepted it and she's done very well for herself.
It's kind of almost scary though how she like will hold it over her parents because she wanted this truck obviously, and she's like, "Well, Mom, it's my money. I can buy the truck." And it's like, you created a monster, Kris.
I wish I had that kind of money when I was 17. I wish I had that
Or
kind of money now.
Yeah, so she wants to buy the truck, and then she apparently blows off Kris for a lunch date at their house. And so anyway, then Kris confronts her and says, why are you pulling away? You know, I didn't raise you to just blow people off like this. And then she says, I was with Brody, and I don't know.
And it was kind of weird to me that Kris was so upset that she was with Brody. Like, you need to take time for family.
That
he's
is family.
just as much her sibling as any Kardashian.
Yep.
But I do feel like, I mean, they'll never admit this, but I do feel like there seems to be a little bit of a rivalry with Kris when it comes to the Kardashians versus the Jenners. And I think that anytime any of the girls hang out with the Jenners, Kris is like, what's wrong with the Kardashian side?
I think part of it, too, is all that drama that kind of unfolded over this season where the Jenners were so standoffish to Kris.
Yeah.
So I think she still probably resents that a little bit.
I don't know. I think it's really nice to see that Kendall is having some time to hang out with her Jenner side, and I like seeing the guys, like, more and more. I like seeing the guys be involved in the show because they are a part of the Kardashians technically.
This is what I want to talk to you guys about, because she said, like, now that Brandon and Brody are more in our lives, do you think they've always been this much in their lives and it's just now on the show we're seeing it, or do you think that it's kind of like coincided?
I think it's new.
I think it's new as well.
Disagree. I think no. I think they've always been. I think it's a new development on the show. They needed more characters for this season because it started to die down.
That's kind of how I feel.
So I think the Jenner families have always been close and been hanging out. I really do. I think that they're so used to making reality television that they really are good now at painting this life based on how they want the show to go, as far as like the plot lines and everything. But I think along I think they really have been close to the Jenners.
And I think when you have cameras around you that much, you kind of mix like
reality
and reality TV, and your worlds kind of combine.
So when she said, now that we're hanging out with them more, probably she means now that we're hanging out with them more in front of the cameras.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true. I feel like they've probably had a relationship and they kind of have, amped it up that they haven't, like, as part of the plot line. But I feel like, I mean, I'm going to get so much hate on Twitter for saying this. I feel like they've been kind of pulling random family members from the woodwork to bring more characters
like
onto
Todd
this
Cranes.
season.
Yeah.
Todd Kris.
I feel like that kind of coincides with the
mom.
fact that Khloe and Lamar can't be on the show anymore together. Kim and Kanye can't be on the show anymore together. Kourtney's not showing her kids anymore. Kim's not showing her baby. So there's, you know what I mean? The only thing Rob does is eat. So there's literally nothing,
Rob.
you know what I mean? There's less personal things that they can cover or that they haven't already covered.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like
that's a good point.
all the older girls are kind of entering parts of their lives, and that they want to keep more private. They're kind of realizing how important privacy is, where like their lives for the past 10 years, or 10 years or 8 or 10 years, I think, have just been completely out in the open. And they've been fine with it. They've loved it. It's made them who they are. It's given them a household name. But, now that they're like, oh, crap, they kind of have a new taste of the real reality because they have spouses now. And they're like, oh, crap, like, I don't want to expose my kids to this yet. Like, I wasn't
that's what I
exposed to
think.
this
They've
when I was growing up.
all been so open about exposing themselves. But now, like, with Khloe right now and with Kim and the baby, it's, like, actually impacting their personal lives and not in a good way. Mm-hmm. And so I think that, which is wise, I think that they're taking a step back from doing everything.
And they've had so much success by now. They have so much money saved up, I'm sure, that it's not as big of a concern.
Exactly.
I mean, they have books and perfumes, and they endorse so many different things. They can kind of, hide away now. Like, Kim and Kanye, they have so much money. They don't need to work ever.
They have more money than Jesus.
Jesus,
Kanye. God.
Speaking of people that need Jesus, let's get into some news and gossip and talk about Lamar.
Oh,
AfterBuzz TV
good
News.
transition.
Lamar.
Thank you very much.
Fill us in.
Yeah, so there's been a lot happening. I mean, because we were on vacation last week, so we have 2 weeks of gossip with this whole Lamar thing. We had talked about it our last episode about how this was all starting to go wrong because last time we had talked, Lamar was kind of missing. Well, he came back, as you know, to the Kardashian household. Then on August 30th, the last thing he needed, he got a DUI. So
For driving too slow. That's why he got pulled over. He was driving like 40 miles an hour on the 101.
Yeah, I was right here in Los Angeles on the 101. He gets pulled over at
That's like the worst thing you could. I mean, driving drunk is bad anyways.
I think-
But like
It's
that's
too
pretty
slow.
obvious if you're
and
driving
after
too
doing
slow. Speed up.
that multi-day alleged crack cocaine binge, then to come, I mean, your career's already teetering as far as being an NBA player, and then to go and now get a DUI, things are not looking good for him. So apparently the other rumors were out there that he did agree to go to rehab, which is great, and I was like, good for him, he obviously needs it. But now the reports are out there that he went to rehab for 1 day.
Less than 1 day.
That's it. He made
That's
it
crazy.
1 day. And now apparently there's rumors, once again, this is all very much new and it's happening but apparently now he's back MIA again.
Well, and I heard too that because there's all these like allegations about him and other women, and I read something somewhere that Khloe like walked in on him and a girl and like pulled him away. Like there's so much crazy stuff going on.
I heard that too, and I also heard that Khloe wasn't really upset about the cheating necessarily because she just cares about him and wants him to get better because she knows that he's going through all these drug problems. But poor girl, she's been through so much. I mean, she's, moved to Texas for his career and kind of like followed him through the ups and downs of his life. And then now he's going through all these drug problems and running away. And I hear that he's kicked out of the house now. And I feel bad for her.
I do feel
so bad for her.
And I have a question, not only for, all those here in the studio, but for everyone that's watching at home or listening on a podcast right now, please give us your feedback. I'd be interested to know and report back next week. How long do you think Kourtney will stick with him and be by his side? I'm sorry, Khloe, pardon me. Because she's always been very adamant saying, I'm by his side, I'm there to support him. But eventually, if he doesn't get better, and he's probably going to lose his NBA career, potentially, he's going in and out of rehab. I mean, do you think that in a couple months or a year from now, this keeps up, that you could see Khloe saying, I'm done?
I think she's probably already checked out, but I think she's a good enough person to care about him as a person. So right now she's focusing on getting him help and then worry about everything else after the fact. But if he's cheating and really on all these drugs and driving drunk all the time, he needs help, and I think that's like her concern.
I feel like we might have something like a Sharon Osbourne, Ozzy Osbourne type thing. Sharon was a very strong, independent woman, and Ozzy had all these drug problems, probably like cheating things as well. And she stayed by her man. She gave him tough love, absolutely, but she has still stayed by her man. And I feel like Khloe is loyal like that, and I like you said, she's the type of person who she cares so much. She just wants him to be able to get better. So, and I don't think Lamar will be able to get through it without her.
Yeah.
He doesn't have very many other people in his life.
Well, and he's gone to rehab in the past too, so this drug addiction thing isn't any sort of new.
Well, and this is my question. He's played like the past couple years with the NBA. I know he went to like kind of like not an actual NBA team, but kind of one of the filter-in teams for the NBA. How does if he's been on crack cocaine and continuously played for the NBA, how has this not come out before? I just don't understand how you can be on crack cocaine and then going to an NBA and playing in an NBA game. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Last August or October or something for, I think it was Adderall, alcohol, and prescription drugs, and then this year it's become like more and more and more.
Why don't they like have watch him or like I don't get it how like.
Well, I don't know how it works for like drug tests and stuff, but I don't think it stays in your system that long.
I think also
Do a cleanse.
that he has been having drug issues, but I read somewhere that obviously if you have a drug problem, you're not under control at all. But apparently he was somewhat controlled for a while, that he was doing it during his off seasons, and he'd clean himself up and he'd go to his seasons where he was able to compete at a high level, and then once he had time on his hands, he went right back. I mean, I don't know, I'm sure towards his last season or two, I think it was to the point where he was definitely doing it during the season.
And I think for me, what upsets me the most about it is that Khloe's trying to start a family with him.
Yeah.
And she's been trying to have kids for so
and
long.
Maybe
and
it's maybe shooting blanks.
I don't
Okay, do that.
Is that
Khloe's
been
been blaming
drugs
herself, but Khloe, that's what breaks my heart. I mean, maybe it's a blessing in disguise now that she hasn't gotten pregnant
She's
with
not
one
gonna
of
have
his
a drug
kids.
baby.
But still, she poor girl's been probably
Messed up.
blaming herself, thinking she has fertility problems, and her husband is out there doing drugs, and yeah, he could be shooting blanks. Who knows?
Well, what's interesting is we saw on the episode that we're talking about tonight, they said coming up this season, they talked about all the new dramas that will be happening this season, and one of them is they're going to start focusing on Khloe's issue with pregnancy, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with Lamar, what happens with Khloe, and to see if they do end up airing that, if they're going to pull it.
I think they're going to cut it.
I think they're going to pull Lamar out too.
I think they're going to pull Lamar out, but I think they're going to have to cover this.
Somehow.
Because if they still want people to perceive the show as real, and they cut
current.
this completely out, then it's going to be really bad for ratings and bad for the show. I think they'll do it in a very sensitive way, but I think we'll definitely see
Very
this covered.
surface level.
Yeah, exactly. Khloe and all these false media reports, you know what I mean? They're going to cover it, and she's going to say in one of her little confessionals, it's really hard to try to get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
it's gonna, but we'll see something, I'm pretty sure.
Do you guys think if he just went to, a nice rehab in Malibu for a month and then came back, everyone
Lilo
would have
style.
a whole new, respect for him and kind of, maybe take him back in? I feel like
I
Chloe's
just
a
got a great
very
idea.
forgiving person, and if he just showed the effort, she would take him back in.
He's gonna
I
go
would
to
assume.
rehab, get better, and then if Kris's show gets picked up, she will have an exclusive interview and ratings spike. We can make money off of this, Kris.
Dun,
Oh
dun.
my God.
Speaking of making money, let's go on to a little bit more happy news or pleasant news. One, Kim Kardashian, she must be a huge fan of our show and our looks because she's now has joined our team and has now become a blondie.
Blondes
Yeah.
have more fun.
Yes, she has.
Yeah. So
What do
Kim-
you guys think of the look on her?
I think it looks good.
I think she looks fab. Like, you go, girl. You just had a baby, and good for you. I think she's still glowing. I love how she's kind of toned down the makeup a little bit, and her style is a little more casual. But she's still the same old Kim. But like the blonde is definitely, it's like.
Well,
hey,
and I just read somewhere that she might go with Kanye on tour.
Oh, that's cool.
good for you, Kim.
Yeah.
I like that she toned down her makeup now that she's a mom because it's kind of weird to have your mom with like big fake doll lashes all the time. I feel like she has that more
I mean, I
natural.
think that's
Have you
gonna
met
come
Kris
back.
Jenner?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's how she's grown up.
But I feel like she's embracing the motherhood and kind of going with it now. And I like the blonde. It's fun to switch
cute.
up your hair.
Blondes have more fun.
And with the blonde hair, she might be doing Playboy.
That's right.
hair.
That's correct. Well, she mentioned it on. It was on the show today. That it was just a brief one-liner, but she was
it was
like
in the preview for the coming up in the season.
But then I was also reading today that apparently she's been working so hard to get her body back. We've all been hearing about this, and she's been going crazy to get her body back immediately. It's because there's rumor. I think at this point it's only just a rumor that she is going to do Playboy, and apparently Kanye is like is supporting this, and he said that if she's gonna do it, he's gonna go and be there and support her.
Is he gonna be in the pictures with her?
I doubt it. But she's gonna go on tour with Kanye, and then Kanye's gonna go and be there to support her.
Do you think she's gonna
Was
do
it that
full nude?
Janet Jackson picture where she had like the hands over
Oh
her
my God,
boobs?
yes.
I'm like, I want one of that with Jesus.
She won't do it full nude, no. But I think it's gonna be pretty risque.
Okay, I'm
I
excited
bet
for that.
he's supportive of it because he knows that's going to make her get back into shape.
Yeah, get that body.
Yeah,
back.
that's
the
right.
body
Oh,
back.
ulterior motives. Ulterior motives.
You go,
Do you
Kanye.
guys want to get into predictions real
Yes,
quick?
let's
Yes.
do it.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Ooh, who wants to go?
Well, it's not the season finale this episode, but there
Mid-season
is
finale or
going to
something?
be a little break for a few weeks. We're not exactly sure why. Maybe it has to do with Lamar. Who really knows? But we're going to have kind of a few weeks off because the show's taking a few weeks off, and then we'll be back. But I know.
Say
You're
it.
going to miss us so much. Here.
I jumped.
We're going to miss you guys.
Scared the crap out of me.
Did it really?
I jumped, yes.
You were like, oh my gosh, where did that come from?
Oh my God.
But I mean, Playboy's coming up, the baby stuff with Khloe. I'm still excited. I'm a fan of the show. I can't wait to see what's coming up next, but I don't really have many predictions.
I think, as we already talked about, like Lamar, I think is going to be cut out a little bit more from this season now that we know like what's actually going on. And I think that they kind of previewed like, oh, Kim and Kanye are almost here with the baby. I think that the season finale will probably be them moving into Kris's house, because I think after they probably moved in, Kanye was like, turn the cameras off, get out of my, like I think they were very adamant about not being filmed and not having the baby on the show.
That's right. I'm excited for the show to get back. I don't know when that's going to be. Hopefully very, very soon. But I really do think, even if they don't touch on it on the show, if they cut it out, I think that we are going to see, even if it's temporary, I'm sadly thinking that Khloe and Lamar are going to have a separation. That's why things come in the news.
I agree.
I think so too.
What I would like to see on the show is like Kendall and Kylie have some little like romance flings or something.
I want to see Jaden Smith.
Yeah, bring that on.
Come on, Jaden.
So we will be back in here whenever they start airing new episodes sometime in the near future. But in the meantime, you can follow all of us on social media. Where can they get you guys?
You can find me online, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube at Danica Kennedy.
And you can find me on Twitter at KeetinM33 and on Instagram at Keetin33.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Justin J. Nichols. Also, I got a new social media app. Have you guys seen this? It's so cool. It's called Feed. P-H-E-E-D?
No.
It's
What
like
is
a
it?
combination of Twitter, Instagram, Vine. You can do everything on it.
So
I'm now
much.
on feed at Justin J. Nichols as well. I have a million
I
social
have
media
too
apps.
many things already.
I know.
Hard to keep track.
P-H-E-E-D. Join it.
And I am on Twitter and Instagram at Jason Ikeler, and we will see you guys in here next week. Or not next week. Soon. Very soon.
Mwah.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later. Oh my gosh.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.